of our primary sources. We've got a nice feature area here at the top where we'll try to put whatever we're currently promoting or whatever we most want to get before teachers' attention, including our online programs, some of our classroom materials, the consortium, of course. A little further down, we now have a permanent homepage home for the Getting Started with Primary Sources features, so that people who really want to get to the primary source analysis tool can now find it front and center and don't have to go digging deeper into the site. We have a little video jukebox that lets us bring some of the videos from our YouTube playlist up and in front of teachers. These will be rotating out as we see fit. And down here we have a feature carousel for the Teaching with the Library of Congress blog, so that we can showcase relevant or time-sensitive blog posts according to the calendar or according to programmatic focuses of the library. Now, if I go down the left-hand side of this page, you can see where we're showcasing different aspects of the library's program for teachers. This is a new page here, which puts a spotlight on our teacher in residence programs. Teachers in residence have contributed so much to our program over the years and are also vivid and engaging individuals, and we wanted to provide teachers with the chance to get to know these dynamic educators. So we're putting a little more of a spotlight on our teachers in residence and the programs that enable their time at the library. Here you see, of course, our current Albert Einstein Distinguished Educator Fellow at the library, Peter DeCrane, whom I hope everybody will get to know soon. But in addition to Peter, we have a little showcase for our alumni. So you can meet some of our past teachers in residence. Here's Amara, here's Jen, Ellie and Carolyn. Further on back, with each of these teachers in residence, we have a link to their blog posts so that you can not only get to know a little bit about them, but see some of the work that they've done while they were here. Another program spotlight area is our collaborations page that lets us showcase collaborations that are not the traditional sort of consortium projects, but some of the other projects that we undertake with external organizations and individuals. So here we have links to our publications that appear in discipline-specific magazines. Here you see a showcase for our Civics Interactives, plus the National History Day Prize, a place to get to know our conversation partners. This is a nice flexible space that will let us put the spotlight on collaborations whenever we have something that we particularly want to show off. The Teaching with Primary Sources Partner Program, of course, has a shiny new banner and a page that we're going to continue to evolve in the near future to show off the Tps Journal, to show off the regional grants and everything else that the consortium gets up to. We do have a tool that we're looking forward to using a little more, which is our interactive mapping. Here you can see an interactive map of the consortium that really provides a good sense of how extensive the program's coverage is. People should be able to zoom in and look at individual states, individual regions. Look at all those dots. When you click on one, you should be able to get a little more information. We'll work on that tool a little further. In addition to our program spotlights, we have the Getting Started with Primary Sources section. This contains a number of resources you may have seen before. The Getting Started intro incorporates materials from the old Using Primary Sources landing page and the Why Use Primary Sources page. The Primary Source Analysis tool page shows off the analysis tool and the teacher's guides. Previously, we had two different versions of the primary source analysis tool, and we've consolidated them into one, which is a fillable PDF that will allow teachers to have students download it and then complete it and either print or upload or otherwise share using whatever whatever classroom management system or other system they're using in this distance learning era. Speaking of distance learning, we have a new home for our distance learning teaching ideas. This is another flexible space that will allow us to continue to build as we identify more strategies for working in distance learning, as we hear more from teachers who are really hitting their stride in their distance learning environment, so that they can tell us what's working or let us know what they need. So watch this space for more. Another new addition to this section is the primary sources and standards page. Previously, we had a search by standards tool that provided item level correlations to different sets of standards. In this version of the teachers page, we're taking a sort of a higher level look. Instead of providing this page that really describes some of the skills that are built from using primary sources in the classroom, and then makes connections to how those skills are treated in different sets of standards. So it does not have the item by item correlation anymore, but instead really looks at things from more of a sort of high level, it's more of a high level skills conversation. Our citing primary sources page is still in place, as is copyright and our student discovery sets. Two of our sort of warhorse sections, our body of classroom materials is in place across the top here. We have focused our classroom materials offerings so that we are offering now our primary source sets, lesson plans, and presentations. One new feature is a classroom materials only search box here at the top, so that I can just type Abraham Lincoln. And there I'll see all of the primary source sets and lesson plans and presentations that are currently tagged for Abraham Lincoln. We're improving our metadata as we speak, so we expect to see these search results improve as the days go on. And you can use these facets over to the side to narrow by era, narrow by topic, by grade level, and by classroom material type. Our primary source sets have a slightly different look, in that we have larger thumbnails. Once again, this is to really put the richness of the primary sources in front of the teacher immediately, and let them really catch the bug and want to dive in. But we still have our teachers' guides, teaching suggestions at the end. One teacher resource type that really does have a new look is our American Memory Timeline, which has been renamed the Primary Source Timeline. This is partially because the American Memory brand has been retired by the library for all of the work that it did back in the 90s. We're especially grateful to be able to give a new look to the American Memory Timeline. Those of you who remember it from back in the day recall that it has a lovely sort of purple and orange pastel palette that just cries out, "I love the 90s." We're happy to have a more sort of plain-spoken look that puts all of the attention on the primary sources and the teaching strategies rather than the sort of the background style and flair. And finally, teachers page, our professional development section offers our webinars and workshops, both upcoming and archived. Our in-person workshops and institutes page is currently closed because we're not able to offer in-person workshops and institutes, but we look forward to reopening it with a more streamlined and we hope easier to use application process for people who are applying for some of our in-person opportunities. Our professional development activities, formerly known as the Build and Deliver professional development section, now is a little more streamlined, down to about 6 activities, and these have been updated and given a cleaner and more consistent look. Finally, our videos are being more dynamically, this page is being more dynamically generated and isn't hand curated whenever we have a new video that gets added to our to the to our teachers playlist on YouTube, or to our internal collection of teacher videos. It'll automatically appear on this page. And I believe that covers the main sections of the teacher's site. However, I've been deep inside this project for a while, and so I'm happy to hear of things that people have noticed that I haven't, or I'm happy to take any questions that people have.
Thanks, Stephen. And just a reminder to everybody, you're all technically muted right now, but you can mute and unmute yourselves, or just feel free to put questions to Stephen in the chat.
This is Sue Wise. I just want to say I can't wait to check out the new primary source timeline. That American Memory timeline has been so valuable, and I know that the revamp will make it, you know, hopefully more user-friendly and obviously a little more updated look. So I'm really excited about that. One of the things that I wonder about was I didn't see the book backdrop module on the professional development modules.
The book backdrop module did not make it through the process, but we would love to hear from you about what you find useful about it, and we can talk about where that sort of content might go. So please, if you this applies to book backdrops or to all others, if there's something that you have really gotten a lot of use out of in the past, and you don't see it here, let us know. None of it is lost forever.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Folks I see asking in the chat if when this will become available. It launched yesterday, I'm pleased to say. And the old links should redirect. They mostly seem to be working so far. And if you find one that doesn't redirect, please drop me a line, and I will I'll hunt it down and make sure it works. Barb, I see you've got a question about the orange dollops and the purple squares.
And if, actually, I'll take that one if I may. The orange dollops are organizations that have already become consortium members. So all of you are represented there, in addition to some of the regional grantees who elected to join the consortium formally. The purple diamonds are included, and those are folks who have received regional grants. Some of them have not yet signed into the consortium or signed up to be consortium members, but we wanted to show the distribution of TPS regional grants. It's possible through this map, this interactive map, to look at just the consortium members or just the regional grantees. So there's just different views that are available.
And Sherry, you asked about or you mentioned the state-specific primary source sets. Reminds me to mention that the state-specific primary source sets have now been brought into the main body of primary source sets, and they've also been given a little more of a rich treatment. They now have the same treatment that the non-state specific primary source sets have. So the larger thumbnails and a bit of a teacher's guide with some analysis questions, as well as a link to additional state-specific primary sources. So this is a great starting point to get someone to dive into the collections. Another question? Mary, the new URL is LOS, and this is consistent with the way programs are treated, with the way all of the library's programs are treated within this publishing environment. It's www.loc.gov/programs/teachers. So just an additional few letters in there. We've been referring to it as the teacher's site, slightly different from the teacher's page, to make it even more clear that there's more than one page here. but we also we can also just call it the libraries, the library site for teachers.
Stephen, this is Stacy. I'm not sure if you had answered these yet, but so I'm just going to highlight them if not. Julie asked in the chat about, are the collection connections still available? And Barb asked about the drop date for no longer redirecting.
We don't have a drop date for no longer redirecting, or if we have one, we have not been told about it yet. So I think these should hold up for quite some time. The collection connections are not still available, but if you will let me know which collection connections you most use and showcase the content that you did, we'd be happy to put them back in, or to make that content available in another place rather. One thing that we discovered in looking at our metrics is that collection connections were used most frequently by people who had landed in the middle of a collection connection, and people tended to use sort of one page in the middle of one rather than going to them from collections and going further in. So we are very curious as to what you find valuable in collection connections and how we can make that content available in some other way. So please drop a line and let me know what you used and how you used it. We love the teaching ideas in collection connections, and we like them so much that we'd like to make sure that the most valuable ones find an even broader audience than they did back when they were inside collection connections. The TPS Journal Sherry is still available and is found in the consortium section rather than the publication section. So if we go to the Teaching with Primary Sources Partner Program, then the TPS Journal has a page dedicated to it right here.
And as you may know, we'll be adding additional content to this site coming up over the next few months with the reprised TPS Journal.
And one of the things that, absolutely, and one of the things that's the sort of the internal pluses for us in moving into this new publishing environment is that it makes publishing even easier than before. And so we're looking forward to sort of expanding our current offerings on a sort of a large-scale basis, but also on a small-scale ad hoc basis. And so please, as you let us know what you find valuable and what you wish you could see, we should be able to be even more responsive to what we hear from you. Yes, Stacy, thank you for putting my email in the chat. It's swesson@loc.gov. Any other questions? We look forward to seeing what teachers do with this new presentation site. We look forward to seeing where they go. We know what our consistent patterns of usage are from watching our web analytics, and we're curious as to whether sort of shaking up our site a little bit and moving it to new URLs will change usage patterns. And we look forward to seeing if this moving around our furniture will lead people to discover some new favorites that have been under the sofa for a while. So please keep us posted as to what you like and what you find useful and what could be improved.
This is Stacy again. Thanks so much, Stephen, for taking the time to walk us through all of these changes. And as everybody is saying now in the chat, it really is fantastic and ultimately will be so useful to all of us and to teachers moving forward.
Well, thanks, everyone. I hope it'll be helpful.
Sure. And Vivian, did you want to add anything?
No, just I'd like to echo your thanks to teachers and thanks to all of you who began to hear firsthand. As I wrote earlier, we've made a recording of which we'll share later.
Great. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank
Have
you
a
all.
good day.
I enjoy the rest of the week.